'tis I, your favorite drag queen turned GM, Shelley Von Miller here. I am here with a butt ton of people today. It's crazy how many people are on the screen right now, but we are with some of the cast and crew of the Melancholy We Weave from Other Cider Studios. I'm very excited about this. Hi everyone! How's it going? How are we doing?
We're doing good.
Hi.
Yeah, feeling pretty good.
Hello.
It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday.
Thursday, everybody.
100%.
Thursday. Well, let's go around the horn real quick. Introduce yourselves. Give your name, your pronouns, and where people can find you on the internet. Oh, and what you do with Other Cider Studios.
Absolutely. I will go first, and then the wonderful cast can go. Hi, everybody. I am Ambrose. I go by any all pronouns. I am the creator, director, and founder of Other Cider Studios. I am the GM, producer, and everything on the back end with my other person that's helping, Leisha Darling, for editing for the Melancholy We Weave. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, that's me. That's what I'm doing for the Melancholy We Weave. I'm going to do that thing where I'm just going to pass it off to somebody. I'm going to pass it to Jessie.
Hi, I'm Jessie. My pronouns are she, they. I am a digital artist, and this is actually my first actual play here with Ambrose. It's my first time doing anything in public, so I'm very excited. I'm going to pass it to B.
Howdy, I am B Narr, they, them, and I am a cast member for the Melancholy We Weave because Ambrose is a lovely human being who got me and Artie in a little thing together. It was really exciting. You can find me everywhere at Sassy Lich, which I'll spell it because it's not a real word, SASSYLICH, like the undead thing. And yeah, I'm in lots of actual plays because I like to do collaborative storytelling with lots of these lovely, lovely people here. And I'm going to pass it to Cassie.
Hi, I'm Cassie, also known as Lamia, and I am one of the cast members for specifically Chapter 7, and my pronouns are they, them. So, and I'm all over the place doing lots of things. There is no consistent branding, so good luck on the scavenger hunt finding me. I will pass it to Wes.
Hi, I'm Wes Franks. My pronouns are they, them. I make weird indie games with Carrie and Comfort. You can find me all over the place on social media at Carrie and X Comfort. We finally got it. We got the early to mid 2000s gamer tag off of Xbox that has X's instead of spaces. I never thought we'd ever. Yeah, I will. It's been my lifelong dream, and it's finally available now because the ship is sinking on that site and all the sites. But yeah, I am also the zine fiend for Plus One EXP. So you can find us at Plus One EXP. We make weird indie games. If you have weird indie game ideas, come talk to me. But yeah, that's and I was also on Chapter 2 of this show. So it was me, Vin, and Ambrose just yucking it up. And it's going to be a very comedic and not sad or weird episode at all. So yeah, and I'm gonna throw it all the way down to Candace.
Hello, everyone. My name is Candace. You might know me as Candace The Magnificent. My pronouns are they, she. I am a TTRPG performer, a voice actor, a writer, and a few other things. You can find me at the Candace Marie on Twitter and Blue Sky, at Candace The Magnificent everywhere else. I think I'm in Chapter 10. Yeah? 9?
9. Oh, 9. It's gonna become a 2-parter, I think, because it was pretty long. So
it's
gonna be
it's
good.
2
So
episodes of
correct.
goodness, though. So episodes 9 and 10. With shout out to Quintastic with 3 N's, right? I believe is their handle. Phenomenal.
3 N's, yeah.
Huge shout out to them. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to pass it to Jordan.
Hello, everyone. I'm DNDJordanLea across all platforms. She, her, they pronouns.
I am actually one of the project managers with Ambrose for Other Cider Studios for this project, and had the wonderful honor, but also was wonderfully tortured with Cassie for Chapter 7, The Three Musketeers, along with Ambrose. There were tears, there was laughter, but a lot of tears. When not here in the Melancholy We Weave, I do stuff on my own channel as a variety and charity streamer. I'm also the creator of Games for Change, which is a TTRPG actual play charity weekend we do a couple times a year. I'm also the storyteller and producer for the award-nominated Ampistrano, and I do a lot of things on the internet because I like to do things. So, yay! And I'm going to pass it off to Arthur.
Hi, my name is Arthur. My pronouns are they, them, me. And I was so blessed to get to be a cast member and play Disaster Gaze opposite Narr in the Artist Block chapter. And following in their footsteps, I will spell out my username because it is difficult by choice. It is Werewolf BF, that is where as in the question, wolf as the animal, and the letters B and F. I do a little bit of game design, a little bit of actual play performance. You can find most of my stuff with Timbo the Wizard.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you all for those wonderful introductions. And like, there's so many different people who do so many different great things. I guess the ultimate question is, how did you get all these people together, these awesome people together, Ambrose?
So the Melancholy We Weave was something that I started planning last year. Because I wanted it to be an anthology series and I was doing research into the right system to do that. And then I started playing with these people or hearing about these people in home games or games that I've already been in or I trust very much. And I trust them to tell a tale of woe, horror, melancholy, and grief with them. Then I also did like a casting call to just see like, hey, there might be people that I don't know of as well. And a lot of them matched up very well. Reached out, very high level open communication with everybody to make sure like, hey, this is what the vibes are going to be. These are the vibes for your chapters, or these are the chapters. How do you feel about this particular chapter or this particular chapter kind of situation? And then it just kind of fell into place. So it took a lot longer in terms of starting, but once we got it going, it went really quickly. So yeah, I trust all of these people to tell this amazing tale, the tales that they have told. So heck yeah, I got these amazing people together, and I'd do it again, personally.
For those who are unfamiliar with Other Cider Studios, and anybody can pick this up, what would you tell people to watch first, outside of this wonderful anthology? What from the studio? What would you suggest? Anybody can give their opinion.
Arcane Core. Arcane Core immediately.
Thank you.
I was in it, so I'm biased. I was in the episode, so I had a featured guest role into it. So yeah, go watch it now. Go watch that episode right now.
Right
now. Stop this interview. Stop this interview. Watch everything.
It's
right
free.
now.
Then
come back.
Tab. They can open
Yeah,
another
open it.
tab.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it on another tab. Like, just have it on in the background. If you can listen to two things at once, by all means,
that
go
might
off.
be rough.
I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Like, two people that can do that, and I think it's wild. But yes, the Arcane Core is like a dark urban fantasy series that takes place in New York City. It's using the Monster of the Week system. So essentially, a group of monster hunters, monster researchers, trying to stop a unknown eldritch entity from taking over New York City. So it's really great, and it's also award nominated 2 times over, and several selections from WebFests as well. So we'll see if any of them become award winning. I'm really excited to see that, but I did not even think that we get that far. So that cast is immaculate. It is our first actual play on our channel, and this is going to be our second. So yes, I'm excited.
Nice. So before coming into this anthology, was anybody not a horror fan? Or is everyone just like a horror, just like junkie?
Horror
Horror
main.
junkie.
Horror main? Okay. Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Let me just look at my wall.
I,
Very much a
I
horror
feel like,
main, yeah.
yeah, I feel like I am the outsider whenever it comes to horror stuff, and just, I being tortured with Chucky as a child, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, no, horror's not for me. But whenever it comes to actual play horror and literature, I love it for some reason. I think it's the way you're able to engage with it, and that's how I felt when watching the short little glimpse that we get into it with the anthology. I was like, oh, yes, oh my goodness, I love the story, the story beats, the context that you get with it, and it's not just gore horror. It's like, let's see how we can interact with people's like way they think of what horror is. I love that. I guess since everyone's a horror main, what attracts you to the genre? Anybody can take this. Anybody can take it.
Okay, so I'm the resident mental health cryptid, and so for me, horror is I witness and hear about so much horror day to day in life, and then also just like as a Black queer person in the United States, like it's so much that like there is something. I'm one of those people where being able to see a solvable version feels cathartic. Like there's a catharsis to horror, and as somebody who, society tells me that I'm supposed to be a monster, like it's really fun to interact with all dynamics of that and explore, well, what is a monster? What does it, like, what are we considering monstrous? Like what makes you afraid? Like what spikes that horror in you? Because the history of horror, right, especially in media that were gatekept and exclusively white for so long, white and cis, right? Horror was, oh my God, what if they're not like us? What if one of the things that are not like us somehow managed to become like us? Oh no. And so being able to turn those things on their head is like really exciting for me. And there's just a catharsis to, people getting what they deserve sometimes.
We love to hear it.
Yeah.
Hashtag vote for the villain.
Literally everything Cassie just said goes for me too. Totally why I love horror. For me too, it also is like a personal, it's like a control thing, like a personal test for myself. I went on a big kick for like a good decade of my life where I just sought out the most horrific and goriest and most traumatizing movies possible just to see how far I could go, just to like know myself a little better. Like, what kind of reactions do you have to certain things? Like, I can watch someone get like disemboweled and be like, yeah, okay. But if somebody, like, I can't watch Rick and Morty because he has barf in the corner of his mouth and it's just too much for me, right? So like, I feel like when I get to watch horror, I get to kind of exercise that part of myself, can like withstand that fear and withstand that kind of emotion and like go through that emotion, because horror definitely is designed to elicit an emotion or a reaction from you, whether it's like the parts of the story that are funny that give you that like little bit of respite from something terrifying kind of being thrown at you over and over again, or jump scares or something like that, or it's something that's like told as a way to deliver a version of something really traumatic or sad that happened to someone, and it gives like a different side of that. Or as Cassie was saying, people getting their just desserts. That's always wonderful for me in horror, because you don't have to feel bad, right? You don't have any kind of additional emotion attached to that person. You don't have to think about like the other side of things. I don't get bogged down on all those feelings. I'm just like, oh, this is great, cut and dried. I think that's what really attracts me to horror, though, that like sense of control and kind of getting to know yourself a little bit better and like what your limitations are.
I just want to toss in, like, as somebody that like writes a bunch of horror, and like I really kind of got my start in the TTRPG like kind of industry of like doing horror and wading into it, is like there's almost like a fairy tale or morality tale kind of quality to horror too. It's a way to like very much investigate parts of society and parts of ourselves and human nature, and what, like, how do terrible things happen, and what are the warning signs, and how are they like ways to like kind of recognize them inside of like ourselves and reckon with them and deal with them in a very like safe and controlled environment. I haven't played a single horror TTRPG that hasn't had safety mechanics involved, and like Ambrose made sure that was like very clear from the get go in this series, and like so it very much made it wide open, of like when we knew what the parameters were of like where we could go. It was a wide open field of like what we could investigate and explore within like the session and everything, and what kind of story we were telling. And I think that's like horror has a very particular finger on the pulse of that.
Piggybacking off of that, Wes and I occasionally sync up on like kind of brainwaves like that in a way that kind of drives me like just like my brain goes wild. But anyway, I was gonna hop in and say, so like in my background, I've done a lot of like kids and fairy tale theater. Like when I was doing community theater regularly, a lot of that was like with elementary kids and stuff. And so much of that is kind of the idea of like storybooks and fairy tales, and how like we're communicating things to it through the unreal. And I think like horror movies kind of tend to go sort of two ways in that trail of like, if you look at some of the older stuff, like I recently rewatched Friday the 13th, the original one, for the first time. And it's like that reads so much on the like scale of like morality play, like the kind of thing that like got parodied with Cabin in the Woods, where it's like it goes down to kind of the bumbling idiot and the like virgin, and that was the whole kind of like meta narrative, is this whole idea of horror as a morality thing. But I think the other side of that is like there is kind of a tendency for horror more than some other genres to be okay with just like there is a literal metaphor here in the room with us, that it's like the Babadook is about depression. Midsummer is about like the price of community and processing trauma. And I love writing that is so just like the metaphor is the thing. And I think that's like what horror is, and it's totally what like we worked on in our chapter. But I think also what like Quietus as a game kind of builds you towards is that sort of kind of retrospect or introspective horror.
I just want to toss in, I think the wording was the trauma is literally there in the room with you, like Arthur said, and it's gonna get you. Like it's like it can get you, and that was really fun to play with. And Ambrose is really, really good at making the metaphorical literal. And I'm very excited to see how it went in all the other chapters, because in ours it was just delicious.
Everyone's kind of said it very clearly of how exactly I feel about horror, so I don't want to keep we know horror is really good with storytelling, and it's truthfully the one thing I'll add is I think it's just to go with, I think, the sense and theme of control that's been added in. I think it's just another way for all of us to try and make sense in a world where oftentimes these things don't make sense and they may not have reasoning, but we want them to have a reason for why Michael Myers is chasing us down, with a knife on Halloween, to, these stories, to the grief that is haunting, that, Cassie, Ambrose and I experienced in ours, that is oftentimes the elephant in the room that people like to dance around. But what do you do when that grief becomes your dance partner? How do you confront that? So, I think everyone put it eloquently, and also Salem is agreeing as well. So,
Hi, Salem. What horror kind of means to me is like it did help with processing a lot in the last 3 years for me, because grief was a very big part of my life for the last 3 years. But I used to hate horror, actually. Like 7 years ago, I used to absolutely not hate it, didn't understand it because I liked every form of media. It was just like, I don't get it because it was gore fest that I was being introduced to. So your Saws, your slasher films, and I'm like, so someone is going around killing people for fun, or, kind of situation. But then I got introduced to Silent Hill. I got introduced to like psychological horror specifically, getting into your brain space and making you feel things, and then realizing there's layers of different types of horror. And I kind of settled more on the psychological, melancholic horror, which is like a Haunting of Hill House, Bly Manor, those types, The Ritual, The Night House. Those are like my top favorite ones. Nope is my absolute favorite one. That is a masterclass of horror, in my opinion, because it doesn't just tell one story. When you watch it again and again, you'll be able to tell other stories or see other stories happening in the background that you didn't see the first time. That was kind of the goal with this one, or this series, was like, hey, it might not be what you think it is the first time. There might be more to it when you watch it again. The tale of a horror might not just be what you think it is, someone trying to kill you. It might be more complex than that. Will you end up siding with them, or will you end up being friends with them, or will you just run away from them? Horror is so layered and detailed based off of our own actual lives. It's like our lives hyperbole, is what I try to go for. So, yeah. TLDR, I fucking love horror and the stories that it can tell. And it sits, if the longer it sits with me, the more I'm like, ooh, I love whatever they did, and I'm trying to figure it out. I need to figure out what they did to make it stick with me. So yeah, that's what I love.
My favorite genres are horror are body horror and coming of rage. I'm really into the transformative aspect of horror, especially when people don't know what's happening but come to accept it or grow from it. I feel like there's an awful lot of queer people that have that feeling about horror. But definitely some of my favorites are, Ginger Snaps, Teeth, which was made into a wonderful musical. Check out, it's great. Anything with kind of that vibe, or The Thing, love The Thing.
Have you seen brand new Cherry Flavor?
Not yet.
I started it because of D.
Well, now it's on the list. Maybe once I come home tonight.
Adding things to list to watch.
Yeah.
I get a lot of that with this group. I end up getting lots of new media to check out every time I have conversations.
So Quietus is the system in which this whole anthology is based around, or based in. Has anybody used the system before? And if not, or if so, did you like it? And how is it different this time around? And if you haven't, what do you like about it now?
Has anyone ever played it?
I have. Okay. Yeah. I was a big fan of Quietus. I did a couple of. They were not play tests of the game, but they were test plays of the system for something that I was concocting a long time ago that just never took off. And I got to play a couple of sessions of it with some people, and I really appreciate games that have thematic mechanics. If the mechanics of the game lend into what kind of story you're telling or what the vibe is, then I am a big fan of that. I'm sorry, I have a dog down here that is just absolutely just chuffed. Just so stoked this is happening. Thank you, buddy. But the use of like weaving melancholy and dread and like grief into a system so intricately as it does, to where it is a major mechanic that you can it's a major mechanic where it doesn't feel disjointed from the narrative you're trying to tell. It enhances the story, and the story enhances the gameplay. They work in conjunction with each other very well. And there are a lot of games that do that. There are a lot of games that don't do that. And that's on purpose. And those games I'm not as big as a fan of. But I love games that do it with, like, so that I'm not. I hate to sound like the whole my immersion person, but my immersion. Like, I like to be immersed in a vibe when I'm telling a story with a group of people. I approach these things like rituals. I don't know. I'm a weirdo. Next question.
For those who haven't utilized the system before, will you in the future, I guess, now that you've used it, or be willing to play in actual plays or even home games that utilize it?
Yes, 1,000% yes for me. This was my first experience with it. I personally really like stories and systems that the mechanics are there, but I didn't feel like I was kind of tethered to the book and to the rules kind of thing. And I think largely that is just a lovely little nod to one Ambrose, but also to Cassie as well, because it never felt like, oh, okay, here's the chapter marker while we now roll dice real quick to see, what's going to happen with that. It felt more so like this was kind of a booster with what we were doing. It felt very fluid. It felt very integrated with what we were doing in the scenes, to the point that we, at least in my experience, minus a may or may not a cat appearance on the screen, we didn't really break at all. We were all immersed in the scenes. And that, I think, really lends itself to some wonderful storytelling that, and I know I talked about this too, I have been looking for in this actual play space, with being able to fully immerse yourselves into a story and get lost for a little bit as you process a bunch of different things. But also us all being able to take the time to step into the spotlight, but then push each other forward too, to push each other to those, not necessarily extremes, but those areas that we may not always be comfortable with, but we felt safe within, and we were all supported on that. So it's definitely a system I'm going to use again, and I think Ambrose has been doing an incredible job with it.
That I tested the system out before, because I was shopping around for something that you could do an anthology with. Everything was either like another one I thought of was something's wrong here, which is there is no GM. I think it is GM-less and prep-less. And it's cool, but it's definitely tells its own story. You can go in whatever it is, literally a master class of improv. So there is no writing anything out, and it is amazing. But I wanted to tell particular types of melancholic or grief stories, and have that parallel with a horror that matched that energy. So each one of those chapters is bespoke. So each one is written to match the characters, and changed to match them as well. When I found out that Quiet is essentially you can do that. You can write your own thing. And it's also meant to be a pickup game too. If you just want to make the characters, ask the questions, and then immediately go into it too, you can do that too. But I decided to prep it that way. It just felt right. And then on top of that, the mechanics are very easy to grasp onto, so that you could be immersed. And the mechanics lend to feeling that tension naturally, because it does it in acts of uneasy, tense, and desperate of different types of roles. As well as acts of a horror movie, Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. Things are getting weird. Things are very weird. And now you have to confront what's happening, if you didn't know what it was already. Sometimes you don't know what it is, and then it's in front of your face, and then you have to deal with it. Everything about it fit perfectly. The test was perfect. And I was like, okay, this is it. This is the one. I will definitely be playing this again. I will be running it again. And I will be running it again as another season. So check out that too. I'm very excited for it.
In one word, we'll go around the horn. In one word, how would you describe the Melancholy we weave? Your chapter specifically, or just in general, for those who have a little behind the scenes access to the other chapters. I'll pick somebody real quick. Arthur, how would you, one word to describe your chapter?
It's kind of I think an odd choice at face, but I think that it's something that there's irony to this. I think that's something that you'll see with the other chapters is I think that our chapter specifically, but I'd love to hear from other people. I would say the word is relatable. I think like we covered a lot of emotional feelings that like even though it's not a one for one kind of situation I'm experiencing, it's still like this is like a concern that I've had or like a worry that I've had that I kind of sat with, and it's interesting to kind of get to have that moment of kind of playing around in the space and experience like we talk about bleed a lot as like people who do actual play, and I think like having that wall of the TTRPG between myself and kind of like playing around in the space, I think was like really interesting and cool. And I think that like my intuition tells me that that probably is a word that would ring true for some of the other chapters as well.
I would say for chapter 2, not like your father, the word for that one is competition.
I see it. I see it.
I think for chapters 9 and 10, the word I would use is catharsis.
I think for chapter 5, I would use guilt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thinker.
I love thinker questions.
Right.
It's
like, how do I condense this?
I can give one for one of my favorite chapters, which I will not tell y'all which one is my favorite chapter because
rude. But they have a favorite.
I have a favorite. It is very close for a few people, but like one that like still sticks with me. I did have the word, now it's gone. God damn it. No, this is a hard question. Like, this is a really hard question.
Wouldn't it be ironic if it was loss? Lost the word.
I mean, choice.
I'm just gonna go with intense.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
For chapter 7, yeah.
I was gonna say for chapter 7 for the Three Musketeers, I was gonna say discord.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
Man, y'all all said some words I was thinking. I was like, well, maybe it's this one. And I'm like, no, somebody already said that.
And it could be the same word. Yeah. Here's the thing.
I think that just says a lot about how good of an anthology this is, and how good everybody is at matching this tone, and how good at Ambrose is at writing stories that fit together. I think, oh my God. I was like, I had it, and now it's gone again. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? This is. I'm just gonna go ahead with you're gonna think chapter 4 is really sweet between me and Arthur, because I think the word I have is love.
Ooh. Oh. But only because I know.
Yeah, you know exactly. You and Arthur know.
I'm gonna be honest. I felt a hug in that, but I also felt the knife in my back at the same time.
It's both at the same time.
Yeah.
At the same time. Truly.
It's all love, I say as I try.
You know what? I feel like that is akin to if I had said friendship for chapter 7.
I would agree. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Based off of the little bit I know, totally.
Yeah, bonds and all that. Yeah. Oh, look, here's that knife. Okay, cool.
It's like friendship, and it's just like, it's not what you think it is.
It's magic.
Friendship is magic.
Friendship is love. So now we got some of us got a little bit of a peek from the reel, and we get just a glimpse, just an itty bitty glimpse into the stories. But what does the audience have in store? What can they mentally, emotionally, physically prepare for?
Devastation.
Literally.
Another good one word. Yes, it didn't have to be one word. It could be a full sentence, but I love the fact that it's just one
singular
word.
Devastation.
Devastation.
I'm going to pull a phrase from my quote because, again, I had the absolute joy and also devastating pain of being in the same episode as Cassie. But all for one and one for all, words that have taken on an even deeper meaning. I think you'll see that play out.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that. I mean, what's coming up for everybody besides the Melancholy we weave? What is coming up for everyone? We'll start. I don't know where we ended at the introductions, and I feel bad because it just happened. Arthur. There we go. I was just like, I was like, I know it's somebody. And I can't remember everybody who went in what order.
Oh, we did that popcorn thing that we do.
Yeah.
Totally. So once again, my name is Arthur Werewolf BF. You can find me basically everywhere there. And coming up, so at the end of this month, well, I guess it'll probably be the beginning of this month, when this is coming out. Tales of the Right Nexus, the Spelljammer AP that I'm in, is coming off hiatus, so we're starting to gear back up on that. That'll be on Timbo the Wizard's channel on Sundays. Also coming up in October and November on Timbo's channel, I'm going to be running a short campaign of Public Access, a Car from Brindlewood game. I'm going to be running a mystery called The Dream, which, if you're a fan of old horror movies, it is tangentially sort of inspired by The Stuff, which is one of my favorite old horror movies. And so I'm so excited. I have such a cool cast, and like it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go with B.
Hi. Once again, sassy lich everywhere. I swear it's real words. I swear I didn't make like the whole thing, but it's I believe somebody I know called it Horror Christmas. So I'm very busy. I stream. I'm going to be doing a lot of that. I'm a voice actor, and you are going to hear me in this new thing from Bloody FM called Poe Evermore as a freaky little guy. Just the freakiest little guy. There's a lot of those in there, but don't listen if you don't like teeth horror. And Gabriel Robinson and I have been working on a game called Bestow, which is very thematically on theme. That was a bad sentence. But thematically congruent with the Melancholy we weave. It's about family trauma and haunted landscapes, and it's very fun. We just finished a playtest of it, and we're going to actually be trying to let other people play it in this coming spooky season. And fingers crossed you'll see me in other actual plays very soon. So yes, I am going to pop it over to Candace.
Hi, I'm Candace. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at the Candace Marie, at Candace the Magnificent everywhere else. You can hear more of me in the audio drama Partial Veil, which is like a cosmic horror meets Fargo situation that I voice act in. And then if you are interested in some upcoming APs, next month will be, actually I guess later this month it'll be announced. So Three Black Halflings is doing the Herald of Shadows, which is the next installment in their City of the Black Rose campaign. I will be in that. And then you can also find me in Frequencies, which is a horror take on kids on bikes that's being put out by the Atomless crew, and that should be out next month. Ooh. I'm going to pop it over to Wes.
Oh, hey, my name is Wes Franks. You can find me on all the social medias at CarrionXComfort. But don't worry about that right now, because right now there's a crowdfunder happening for this game called Between. And a game that I wrote, Unsinkable, is included in that. We have hit our funding goal. But,
Yeah,
as
you
know,
did.
there's a
Sorry.
bunch of stretch goals happening currently. So go ahead and tell all your friends about it and everything. And if you're going, what is the Between? It's Victorian London monster effing. I don't know if I can curse. Monster effing / hunting. All of that good
Oh, you can
stuff.
curse. I'm a foul-mouthed bitch.
Okay.
You can curse all you want.
It's a game for monster fuckers. It's a game for monster fuckers, and it's really sad, but it's also really good, but it's also, like, really tense. And it's collaborative storytelling, and it's awesome. And if you're a fan of Penny Dreadful and other shows like that, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, go ahead and check it out. It's on BackerKit. It's probably on the front page. I don't fucking know. But it's been wild, so go ahead and check that out. Also, if you like making games and you want to be a game designer and you have a bunch of games in your Google Drive and you're like, nobody will ever print these, shut up and go to TTRPG.link/pitch form and then put your games in that pitch form, and it goes directly to my face, and I read them, and then we can set up a meeting and we can talk about getting that game printed, getting it laid out, getting it art and everything like that, and getting you paid for it. We're not going to make you rich and famous, okay? So don't come into my DMs being like, why didn't you make me rich and famous? I will pay a phone bill of yours. I will do something like that with this game, but you will have a physical game in your hand, so please hit me up. Thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it on over to, Jesse.
I don't think they're in the call.
Hi, I'm Jessie. You can find me on pretty much any social media at Crypto Baffling. I am a digital artist. You can find my art online. I need to post more of it. I also am working on a game, but it is nowhere near good enough or ready enough to really announce.
Okay.
But if you like
sitting here.
Good
weird
save.
body horror and transformation, just keep an eye out.
I feel like there was about to be a chorus of people on this call going, "Oh no, no, no!"
Yeah. No.
How dare you?
There definitely
I
was.
just mean it's too baby right now.
Okay, that's fine.
It's small bean.
It's just a baby. It needs to grow up a little. And I'm gonna pass it to Cassie.
Hi, I'm Cassie, also known as Lamia. You can find me at Mental Lamia on Twitch. You can find me on Mental Woke on Twitter, and Intersections CCH on Blue Sky, and Intersections LLC on Instagram. Because like I said, there's no such thing as branding. Go fuck yourself. I am working on the next... I'm working on the next season of my podcast, Woke Mental Wellness, where I play actual plays with Black queer folks, and we talk about the intersections of gaming and our mental health and wellness experiences. And the cast is always an additional mental health professional and at least 2 non-professionals, so there's a good mix to have these conversations. So if you want to help me do that, you can also find the Woke Mental Wellness Ko-Fi and send me money to help pay for editing and things like that, because I'm hoping that we can get that recorded and out in early 2025. Otherwise, I'll probably be at PAX U, hopefully doing things, but we'll see. I don't know yet. So yes, thank you, and please watch the Melancholy We Weave so that we can wreck you, because we love you, and that's what we do to our friends. Jordan.
I just want to pivot real quick. Lamia, you need to be the spokesperson, for every commercial for this thing of, come watch us. We'll wreck you. That's the vibe. Hi, everybody. I am DNDJordanLea, she, her, they pronouns. You can find me across all platforms at DNDJordanLea or Ampistrano or Ampistrano D&D. I stream a lot on my Twitch channel, all over the place as well. Currently, I have a couple projects I can't announce just yet, but they'll be announced in the coming months. Hang on one second, because Salem is being really obnoxious. Hang on. I will hopefully be at PAX U as well, but we will see how the universe aligns with all of that. I know you can hear him. I'm so sorry.
I just know what he's doing.
He just decided to
Stop
climb underneath my
apologizing.
monitor while this is happening,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to get
Of
him
course. Of course.
So let's take it back a second. I will hopefully be at PAX U with doing some things, and we'll see. Currently getting geared up for our next GFC weekend with the wonderful Wes as well, who's one of our organizers for... His wife looks so shocked. I literally... We've been doing this for over a year. It is a TTRPG charity weekend we do a couple times a year to raise money and awareness about various causes, and our next one is going to be happening in November. And then last but not least, we're also waiting to hear back about a couple possible award things that are happening for Ampistrano, which is an all neurospicy, mainly ace cast, wonderful homebrew actual play that I absolutely love and think it's amazing. So, but yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm gonna popcorn it over to the wonderful Ambrose.
Hey everybody, what's up? I love this cast and they're amazing, and please check out their stuff. They are all doing amazing things and I am proud of them very dearly. I am Ambrose. I go by NEL pronouns. Creative director and founder of Othersider Studios. You can find me everywhere it says Ambrose, except for Twitter and Instagram, where you have to put an underscore at the end of that because those places, you guessed it, hate me. But they do. There's proof. I'm a award-winning TTRPG performer and storyteller. And I am currently going to be in a lot of October stuff. I did not plan for that to happen. It's to that point where like I pre-recorded stuff and like it's all playing at the same time. So I'll be in a completely different place doing something else while you'll see my face on screen at Bad House RPG for a Midnight Rush, which is a Hunter Reckoning campaign, as well as the Take Back, which is a Nightcrawler campaign. I will be playing my comfort character that everyone has clocked me on of choice, which is a he, they, shaved head werewolf boy. So I get it.
Shocking.
It's okay. I know what my comfort character is. Check him out. He's wonderful. I love Beck. But that's going to be the October vibes that we're going with. And then the Melancholy will be released at the start of October the 2nd. So check that out for chapter 1, which my brain, Little Miss Hollow will be the first chapter, so please stay tuned for that. And I think that's all for me. I'm going to PAX Unplugged as well. I'm definitely going to be there, so if anyone wants to meet up, chat, network, and just hang, by all means, I will be around.
Yeah. Aren't you also running some October games starting like 2 weeks?
Yep.
I think that's a cough, hint.
Okay, all right, hold on. One of them, we're doing I forgot how much stuff I have now. All right, I'm doing a Monster Hearts 2 one-shot, which will be Who's the Monster here, which I'm really excited about. And another one we're waiting to see back. I don't think it's going to be in October, though, but that will be Spirit Howling, which will be a Monster of the Week one-shot. And we're also going to be doing a Tangled Blessings, which I need to talk to you about, Arthur, also in October, which will just be me and Arthur. It's just going to be a two-people RPG or a solo RPG, if y'all want to check that one out, because this one I've been wanting to play live for a while. And that's me. This is going to be my very first full October ever in the history. So yeah, I am busy. It is Halloween Christmas for me. So let's go.
What was it? What was the title earlier? It's Horror Christmas or something like that.
It's Horror Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, Horror Christmas. Like they said, The Melancholy We Weave is set to premiere Wednesday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube on the Othersider Studios channels. You can check everyone's links down below. But speaking of YouTube, you can subscribe here for more TTRPG goodness and gaming stuff. I love you guys very much. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the internet. Goodbye!